Today, I want to focus on three selections, but I do not want to present them as if they are equal, because they are not. One of them looks strong on both match profile and price. One looks very strong on match direction, but weak on value. And one looks like the cleanest total on the board out of these three. Let's start with ADO Den Haag against RKC Waalwijk. This is one of the better home win setups on the slate. The model project's expected goals at 2.26 for ADO and 1.05 for RKC. That is a meaningful gap, not a tiny edge, not a coin flip disguised as a favorite, a real gap. Then look at the 1x2 distribution. ADO are sitting at 64% to win. The draw is just above 20%, and the away win is under 16%. So from a raw probability standpoint, the home side is clearly the correct side. Now the next part matters even more. Fair odds on the home win are 1.56. The market is offering around 1.65. That means the price still gives you something. This is not just a match where the model says ADO should win. It is a match where the model says the home side should win, and the current number is still slightly better than fair. The scoreline cluster also helps. The top outcomes are 2-1, 2-0, and 1-1. That matters because it tells you the match is not being priced as some chaotic shootout. It is being priced as a game where ADO can control enough territory to get over the line, with two goals very much in range. And that brings us to the corners angle. Projected corners are 12.73. Over 9.5 corners lands at 76.4%. That is massive. It tells you the expected match script is built around pressure, territorial advantage, repeated entries, and repeated forced clearances. In simple terms, the card does not show a lucky favorite. It shows a side expected to spend long stretches on the front foot. The attached analysis points in the same direction. ADO are framed as one of the most reliable anchors on the slate, with league-leading production, strong form, and a profile that fits a promotion-level team rather than a side barely surviving in the division. Now the risks. They exist. RKC do have a draw-heavy feel. That means they can make a game ugly for stretches. And if ADO score first, the tempo may come down instead of going up. So the biggest risk here is not really that ADO are the wrong side. The bigger risk is that the match becomes narrower and slower than the best-case script. Still, among these three, this is one of the cleanest combinations of direction and price. Now let's move to Inter against Cagliari. This is the most important match to explain properly, because a lot of people will see the badge, see the favorite, see the huge win probability, and stop thinking. That is not enough. On raw match strength, Inter are clearly the right side. Expected goals are 2.19 for Inter and just 0.63 for Cagliari. The 1x2 split gives Inter 72.6%. That is a dominant projection. And the top score lines are very telling. 2-0, 1-0, 3-0. Everything in that card says the likely shape is Inter control. So why am I more cautious here than with ADO? Because the value is not there. Fair odds on the home win are 1.38. The market is around 1.26. That is below fair. The value radar even shows the straight home win as negative EV. That changes the conversation completely. Because now the question is not, will Inter probably win? The answer to that is yes. The real question is, are you being paid correctly for taking that side? And the answer there is much less attractive. The attached write-up supports the same general conclusion. Inter are framed as tactically superior, stronger in structure, stronger in squad quality, and much more likely to force Cagliari into a reactive, low-block game. So the match direction is not the problem. The problem is that the market already knows it. There is another subtle point here. Over 2.5 goals sits around 53.5%. That is not a crazy over profile. And over 9.5 corners is below 50% as well. So this is not one of those cards where the favorite is expected to completely suffocate the game through endless corner pressure and relentless shot volume. It is more of a controlled superiority profile. Inter likely dictate. Inter likely win. But the game can still stay compact. That creates the main risk. Inter can be right, and the bet can still be poor. A 1-0 win cashes the direction. But if you took an overextended price or expected a blowout, you are the one carrying the bad number. So for Inter, my read is simple. As a football opinion, the home side is right. As a betting opinion on the straight 1x2, the edge is weak. Now the third match. Floridsdorfer against SKU Amstetten. This, to me, is the cleanest total among the three. And the card is brutally clear about why. Expected goals are only 1.14 for the home side and 0.76 for the away side. So the combined XG sits around 1.9. That is low. Genuinely low. Then the total market projection confirms it. Over 2.5 lands just 29.7%, which means under 2.5 is roughly 70.3%. That is already strong. But the scoreline cluster makes it even stronger. 1-0, 0-0, 1-1. Those are your top outcomes. There is no ambiguity in the story this card is telling. It gets even better when you look at price. The market is around 1.6, 1 on under 2.5. Fair price is about 1.42. That is a meaningful gap. So again, like ADO, this is not just direction. This is direction plus value. Now add the corners profile. Projected corners are only 6.5. That is extremely useful context. Because low corner volume usually means fewer sustained attacking phases, less territorial siege, and fewer repeated emergency actions inside the box. In other words, the corners projection agrees with the under. The attached analysis supports the same kind of low event reading. The game is framed as under-friendly, with repeated recent under patterns and no strong signal suggesting a tactical shift into a wide-open match. Now the risks. They are the classic under risks. An early goal changes the script. A red card changes the script. A penalty changes the script. And because the 1x2 split is not wildly one-sided, if one team falls behind, they may have to force the pace late. But before kickoff, this is still the cleanest total profile out of the three matches we are discussing. So let me rank them clearly. Number 1. Floridsdorfer against Amstetten under 2.5. Because the XG profile, the scoreline cluster, the corners projection, and the fair price all line up. Number 2. ADO Den Haag home win. Because the home edge is strong, the pressure profile is strong, and the current number still gives you something. Number 3. Inter home win. Not because the football case is weak. The football case is actually very strong. But because the betting price is already squeezed, and that matters. So the final message is this. ADO looks like a real home win angle. Inter look like the right side, but not the best price. And Floridsdorfer under 2.5 looks like the cleanest pure betting setup of the three.